Hey everybody, welcome back. Jesse here for 3Prong Gaming, and in today's episode we're going to start setting up our NPC, our non-player characters. So by the end of this, this can be relatively simple, but we got to get them set up, but we should be able to have random features. The character will have random name, random sex, and random color. So we're going to do some dynamic material instance, and we'll be able to just spawn them into the world when we need to by pressing a key. So let's go ahead and get this started. All right, in the last episode, what is this? This is episode 17. What did we do in the last episode? Honestly, I can't even think what we did in the last episode. So whatever it was, go ahead and check it out. It should be up there in the upper left-hand corner. But yeah, we should be, we worked on our construction. We got our construction. That's what we did. We were able to place our building and have construction times before it finished. So now the next step is, like I said, with the NPC, we're going to get them set up so that we can go ahead and hopefully soon, it'll take several episodes before we can really get to the point of doing this, but the whole point of this is so now we'll set him up so he can go and do the construction for us. And yeah, so let's get this going here. Let's go start with some enums. Let's go into the enum here, right click, blueprint. We're going to need a couple of these. Let me see, we're going to need actually 3 of them. We'll call this one NPC name female. Another one, we will call this one NPC name male. Name male underscore enum. I need to stick with my convention here. Let me fix this one real quick. F2 underscore enum and delete this underscore. Okay, and then the next one will be another enum. We will call this one NPC sex type underscore enum. There we go. Control save them. Now this one, just come up with a bunch of random names. I'm only going to come up with a few. What is this? This is female. Let's do 4. We'll call this one Emily. And we'll just do my daughter's names. We'll do Haley. We'll do Ashley, yes. Oh, I misspelled that one. Ashley, yes, I have 3 daughters. And Hannah. Okay, save that one, close that out. Let's open up the male. We'll just come up with a few names for this one. I'm sure we'll do 4. Let's just do my name, Jesse. We'll do Steve, Will, and Bob. All right, yeah, that sounds good. Obviously, the more you have, the better it's going to be. You know, as you get closer, then add a whole bunch. We'll eventually do last names as well. Right now, we're just going to set it up like so. Sex, obviously, you only need 2. Obviously, male and female. But if you want to make it so one is weighted heavier than the other, or even if you don't, if you still want it 50-50, expand this, just make the, maybe you can make it 4 2 males, 2 females. It'll kind of help out, make it a little bit more random, I guess. When it's selecting between 2, you're going to end up a lot with the same, so you could alternate a male, female, male, female, male, female. But if you wanted to, say, spawn more males than females, or vice versa, then just add more male, like a 3 male, 2 female, or 5 male, 2 female, or vice versa. Whatever you want to do, that will work for us for now. That'll be enough to show us some random stuff. Okay, and let's go here real quick. Now we'll do that in a second. Go into your blueprints. If you've already, I think I deleted, we're doing obviously the top-down template. So there was a character here at one point. I think I deleted the character blueprint. If you've got yours, then you could just set your character up like I am mine. But I don't have one in here. So let's just go ahead and go blueprint class, make it a character. So we've got the movement component, and we will call it NPC underscore BP. All right. Control save that. Let's open that up. drag this up here. All right, obviously we got the capsule component here, the mesh. Let's go ahead and find the mesh. We still have all the animation blueprints and all that stuff that was here. So mesh, we want the SK mannequin. Just click it once to highlight it. Let's drop that in there. Okay, he's obviously way up here in the world. So let's go ahead and move him down a little bit. We need to set his location to -93. Okay, that'll be about right where his feet are planted on the ground. And his rotation, we need to rotate him to where he's facing the arrow. So that will be minus 90 degrees. And there we go. We got that part set up. Save it. I said save it. Now we need to, let's see, we need to do a couple other things here. Let's go ahead and set his collisions. We don't want the mesh to have any collisions. That's what the component, the capsule component is for. So let's go ahead and set collision preset. It's got it set to character mesh. Let's just set this to no collisions. Okay. Compile it, save it, go to his capsule component. Let's do some collisions on his what did I do? On his capsule component here, collisions. We will leave it as, actually we'll turn it to custom, leave his object type as pawn, but we need to actually not block camera. Let's go ahead and ignore camera. We can turn the visibility on. And the reason why we're not doing camera, remember the issue we had when we placed our meshes into the world and the camera sphere was interfering and doing some weird stuff. It was doing the same thing with this when you drop it in the world. So go ahead and ignore camera on the trace channel. That's fine. And then come down here. And for now, we want it to ignore other pawns. I don't want any. They can walk through each other. That's fine. Maybe eventually we'll set up some, you know, some like detour work on them so they'll kind of go around each other. But for now, that's fine. And then the rest of these settings, those are good as well. So compile and save that. We'll come back and do character movement once we get them actually moving around. But for now, that's about it. For his materials, we need to go ahead and do a couple things here. So go down to find the character materials. We've got, this is what he's using right now. I'm not going to worry about the chest logo. We'll leave that. But the UE4 man body, I'm going to right click it and just create a material instance. Leave its name the same, except for it's got the underscore instance on it. Save it. And what we're going to do, we're going to make this dynamic. So in order to do a dynamic material, we need to, it's got all the parameters in here, but we're going to change the body color. So we need to select this so that it's editable when we go to do our dynamic material. Save that. All right, that's it for that. We don't need anything else in there. So let's see, construction script, event graph. We're going to need to create a couple functions in here. First one, let's go ahead and create this new function. Where is function? There it is. Create a new function. We'll call this random character. Of course, we could probably do that NPC. Why don't we do that? Random NPC features. Okay. And let's see. Go ahead and drag your mesh into the world here. And drag off of this, and let's do dynamic, create dynamic material instance. Go ahead and plug this in. Now the source material is going to be, let's see, UE4 man body, the instance that we just created. So select that. And then let's just go ahead and promote this to a local variable and call this material instance. Okay, drag that back there. Now we need to do another local variable. Let's go ahead and call this one random sex, and we will make it of type. Just type in sex and NPC sex type. Enum will come up. Make it that. Default value is not a big deal. Compile and save that. So now we need to make it so it can create a random gender. We could have called it gender instead of sex, but who doesn't like sex, right? So random integer in range, random integer in range. and 0, since I've only got 2 in my enum. If you did like I was talking about and you wanted to make the odds of one or other coming up, just enter how many total you have in there. Remember, the minimum value's got to be 0 because enum is 0 base. The first entry in an enum is 0. Number 2 would be number 1. I've only got 2 in there, so 0 to 1 is fine for me. Now we need to convert this to a byte, so type 2 byte from integer, not 2 bool, 2 byte. And just to help with the conversion, just right click, do literal enum, and find NPC sex type. Okay. And then just drag this in and it'll give us the proper convert node. So if we drug off this and type convert, you could find the convert to this, but it's just easier to type the literal enum and then drag it in. So now what we need to do is go ahead and set it to our variable here. So that way we can use it a little bit later, make it a little bit easier. And then drag off of this again and do equal equal. Make sure you do equal enum. And if it's male, press B, drag in a branch, and drag that in. So if it's male, what we will need to do is drag out our material instance right here, get it, and we will need to set vector parameter value. We're going to need this twice, so drop that in there like so, and then plug this in right there. So again, this is male, this is female. So now we need a parameter name and a value. Okay, the value here is a linear color structure. So let's go ahead and create 2 more variables here. We will call this female color, and we will make it type linear color right there. Create another one and call this male color, and it's already typed linear color. And I've played around with these. I'm just going to do blue and pink for my characters here. So go ahead and let me see what the values are here. I got to open up my cheat sheet. So for the female, the value will be 0.451. Like I said, I've played with these values. You can go in and play with them however you want. 0.028, and the blue will be 0.266. That'll give us a nice pink color. Okay, compile that. And then the male color, this one needs to be 0.061. And then this is 0.107. And the blue will be 0.451. And yes, on both of them, leave the alpha at 0. That is fine. Compile it and save it. So now we need to just drag these in. The top one is male, so just drag this in right there. Create a little space. And then the female can go right there and just drag this down. So now the parameter name, remember I already showed you this. So let's go ahead and open this up anyways. It's got to be specific. It's got to be not just specific, it's got to be exact. So body color. See how it's camel cased, body, and color. So it's got to have a capital B and a capital C, and the rest is lowercase. So that's what we need. So come back into here, and the parameter name will be body color. You can turn this into a variable if you want, which is a type name, but that's fine. I'm just gonna leave it like this, and then Control V. I just copied and pasted that in there, so I knew they're exact same. Okay, and then create a little bit more space in there. So now we need to create another function in here. Let's go ahead and call this one get random name. And we want an input type of, what do we want to call this? We'll just call this sex, or you can call it gender if you would like. And this will be, just type in sex, and it'll be sex type enum. And the output will be a string. So we'll just call this one name and make it type string. Okay, so let's go ahead and just create a little bit of room in here. So now what we need to do is just off of this, we need to check this equals enum. If it's male, drop in a branch like so. and then the false will be for its female. So now come up here, and we need to do entries in NPC male name. Okay. Drag off of this. Now remember, like I said, it is the enum is a zero-based list. So we need to subtract integer minus integer, and we need to make it -1. Okay, and then we need to take random float or random integer in a range. Sorry about that. And then we want this in the max. So just control and drag this and put it into max. So the minimum number is 0 because it's a zero-based list, and maximum will be how many total entries we have -1. Okay, and then just do this to byte. And then drag in literal enum male name. Okay, and then plug this in. It'll give us our convert node. And then this, just plug this straight into the return right here. We'll move this return up and plug that return into the true. Okay, so now we need to pretty much do the same thing, but for female here. So get number entries of NPC name female. And then this, we can go ahead and just Control C and Control V. Plug those in. And now we need to literal, probably going to have to delete that. Let me see here, female name. Probably going to have to delete this because see, you can see right there it says NPC name male. So we're going to have to delete that one. And then just plug this in and it'll give us the proper one. Now it says female. Okay. And then that's it. So grab another return node here, Control W, and then plug this in here. It'll convert it to a string for us. And then plug that in. So that's all we need to do for that. That's our get random name. I'll hold it here for a second so you can see what it's all about. All right. Compile it and save it. Let's go ahead and close that. We shouldn't need that one again. So go back into your random character function, and we need to drag in get random name right here, and Control W, we'll need it twice. Plug those in, and then for the sex, of course, you don't really need to, we probably don't even need this one. I don't know why I did that. Because this could really just be male, and you could select female. But if you've got, yeah, that's really all you have to do. Let's see, let's go ahead and delete that. We don't need that in there. Yes, delete it. So we're going to have to come back in here and rehook that up because I deleted that. So it's no longer setting it. Drag this a little bit closer here. Okay, now we need to go into, let's see, go back in here to your content browser. Let's go into structs. We need to make a new struct. All right. Go ahead and right click in there, and we need to go blueprint. Where's that? Blueprint structure. Let's go ahead and call this one NPC profile underscore struct. Okay, so every character is going to have this profile, and we'll set these variables when it is created. So go ahead and open it up. And the first one, we're going to need quite a few in here, but for these purposes, we'll only add them as we need them so we don't clutter it up. The first one, let's go ahead and call this name. And like I said, once we do first and last names, we could probably just leave this as just one. You can make two here. You could do first name and then another one second last name. But when we actually incorporate last names, we can concatenate, I think I said that right, the names. So when it randomly selects a first name and a last name, we just put those together, and then we can append them to each other and then add it to this just one string right here. So right now we'll just leave one. We'll just call it name. The second one, let's go ahead and call this one sex or gender, whichever you prefer. And this needs to be of type NPC sex type enum. Don't worry about the default values, not a big deal. And for now, that's all we need in that struct. Okay, so go ahead and jump back into your NPC function, the random NPC features. Drag in your struct. Actually, we need to make a new variable. This is a regular variable, not a local. Let's call this my profile, and it needs to be of type, what do we call that? We call that NPC profile struct. Compile and save it. Let's go ahead and drag this in here as a set. Right click on the pin, split the struct, and Control W to give us a second one. Okay. And just all we need to do is just plug in the name. And then for the sex, just like we did over here, this is in the female branch. So we can just automatically say female, and then this one will stay on male. And that is it. So now every time we spawn, actually not quite it because it won't happen yet, but every time it'll spawn, it will create some random features for us. And we'll eventually add that. And the nice thing about doing it like this, let's see, NPC features, drag that in, and just hook up the execution. Eventually, once we get to that point, this random feature will include, we can give them custom clothing, we can give them different shades of skin color, and there's a whole bunch we can do in here to truly make them random and dynamic. Once we start doing like voice acting and things like that, now whether we do that in this actual tutorial series or not is yet to be seen. But once you get all those things, you can come up with different random voices, and you can hook all that up in here, and it'll randomly select, so it'll give you a wide variety of characters. Okay, and now we need to go into our camera pawn controller. Go ahead and open up camera pawn controller. Now we need to make this so we can just spawn them into the world. Okay, so just go ahead and right click. I'm just going to use the V key. You can use whatever you like, just because that's what I've been using with my other ones, so it'll be easier for me to remember. All right, so now we need to right click. Let's do set cursor world position. Grab our function out of the function library that we made several episodes ago. All right, obviously the controller is going to be self. So just plug that in there. Now we can just take our sight distance that we have in here that we used for placing our buildings and plug it in. The problem with that is we don't have any, this is just a temporary function that we're going to use. It'll be here for a while. Until we create like an immigration office. But for all our testing, this is going to stay here for quite a while. So we can put in, checks here to make sure that if your cursor's out of range that we can't spawn. But let's not worry about that. We're not going to break our own game as far as, just placing these, because this isn't going to be a permanent function. So we don't have to worry about if it's going to be broken or not. So I'm just going to enter a large value here of 10,000. Should be good enough because, you're not going to spawn it too far out of control. Okay, and then we need to drag this back a little bit. Go ahead and split this struct. All right, because we just need the X, Y, and we're going to set, let's go ahead, make transform on the location. Go ahead and split this struct here and just plug in the X and the Y to this. Now for the Z, what we need to do is go back into our NPC here, go into, let's see, the mesh height. All right, his viewport here. We got the mesh. All right, his location is minus 93. So we need to make his location 93 right here. Okay, and it's actually a little bit high. You want to, if I did actually 92 point something, it'd probably be better. 93 is fine. He'll drop into the world just above the ground, and then he'll actually set on the world. If you make it too low, he could have a chance of falling through the world, or at least being cut in half. He won't actually be in the world. This way, he'll drop straight down onto his feet and be good to go. Now, we're going to change some settings in here. Right now, we're going to leave this at 1, but like I said, my world is going to be quarter scale, and I might have to reconsider that. I may not make it quarter scale, but right now everything I have is quarter scale. So eventually, I'm going to make this 0.25, 0.25, 0.25, so that way he's miniature size. But right now we'll just leave him as 1. So go ahead and spawn actor from class. Okay, drag this out, hook in the transform. Class we want to spawn is NPC BP, then just plug that into the pressed. And if I'm not mistaken, that should be it. I think we can go ahead and spawn him or her into the world. Press play, cross your fingers, and press V. There we go. There is some other things I forgot, but we'll do that in just a second here. And then V, 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 V. I'm getting a bunch of females. See, there's male there. Perfect. And he's obviously, and she's obviously getting random names. We can't check that yet because there's no way to. We didn't set up any functionality to check it. We just set it up because we could. So, sweet, yeah. So now the characters spawn wherever. But you can see they're not animated, right? And if you actually get in close and can see, you'd actually be able to tell that they're still floating above the ground here. We need to create, we need to incorporate the animation blueprint. So go ahead and go back into your player blueprint, your NPC blueprint right here. Select self. Now we need to find right here, auto possess AI. We haven't selected an AI yet, so we need to do that. Go into, actually go into your mesh real quick. Animation blueprint. Like I said, we've got the top-down and a BP that came with the package. So there we go. Now he's animated. So now when we drop him into the world, actually that still won't fix him. We need to create an AI real quick. We're at almost 27 minutes. Let's go ahead and just create just a basic AI controller. So select blueprint class, and then in the search field, do AI controller. Select the first one here, the AI controller. Select it. We'll call this NPC _ AI controller. That'll work. And we don't need to do anything with that right now. So go ahead and jump back into your NPC blueprint. Select the NPC self here and auto possess. We want to auto possess when we place it in the world or when it's spawned. And then the controller we want is not the AI controller. That's the default one we want. The one we just created, which is the NPC AI controller. There we go. Drop that in. And I don't know why you switched to blue. Probably just because it's twitching. The reason why it's showing female right here is because in our construction script, in this random NPC feature, it's checking to see if its enum is male. And it's running false because we haven't ran this construction script yet. So it's just popping up false. So don't worry about that. If we were to reverse these pins, it would show up blue in the viewport here. Not a big deal. Compile it, save it. Let's run back out here, press play. And then now, there we go. We're getting our random characters. And that is it for now. So this is step number 1 into, yeah, I spawned a whole bunch in here. This is step number 1. Pretty soon we're going to be starting to do our behavioral trees. And we're going to start giving these guys some, some life to them. So we still got a little bit more work to do. Actually, I'm not quite sure what we're going to do after this. It's going to start getting to the point, like I told you guys a while ago, and really hasn't been that bad as far as not having something to show for our work afterwards. Yeah, it's coming up pretty quick to where we're going to be doing some stuff and not have too much to show for it, because it's going to start getting pretty complex, especially when we start doing all the AI and the behavioral trees and all that. But we'll take it step by step. I'll teach you the best I can, and we'll do the best we can. And maybe before you see this video, actually, I may have posted a little teaser on where I'm currently at with my AI and how things are working. So if I did, then hopefully that's got you guys a little bit excited for what's coming up. But after this, yeah, I'm not quite sure if we're going to start the behavioral tree after this. Yeah, I'm going to have to go through and see, because there's still a whole bunch of stuff that we got to do. So that's it. I'm going to wrap this up. We're sitting at just about 30 minutes, so that's perfect timing. As always, thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please do me a favor, go down and hit that like button. It helps me out a ton. If you're new to the channel, while you're down there liking it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well. And check out one of those other videos that are playing on the screen right now. And until next time, peace.